Welcome to the Cryptid Wrangler podcast. We ask the questions others don't even consider.
Evening, everybody. Cryptid Wrangler podcast again. We've got Larry, who is Mike's turned off. Myself, Scott, Bruce, and Brandon. Brandon is from Tinfoil Tales. And I feel really bad because last year at CryptiCon, I ran into you. We talked a second or so, and I was running into somebody else's speech. I came back and you were gone. So I was like, oh shit, because we were talking so much before that. So, but he's our guest for tonight. But as I am already got 12 comments. We're gonna have Bruce tell us what's going on and what he's found out about the PNG film. Go for it, Bruce.
All righty. I got to sit down with MK Davis, super good, nice gentleman, very observant, a good investigator. We got to look at the film as it was broke down into frames. There was so much in the frame. As a detective, when I go in, I don't look at the body as much as I do the surroundings. That helps me determine and better understand what might have happened. With MK's, now this is all MK's stuff, so I'm going to give him the credit. All right, I'm going to get into some stuff that I didn't even bring up to Mr. MK that I've seen in his film footage. So this is the first that's ever been told about it, and I'm fixing to tell it. In the film, there was a flash in that film in the frames. It showed up in 2 frames side by side. After reviewing it several times, everybody assumed it was a gun barrel flash. It was not. It wound up being quartz, a rock called quartz. And when the camera panned and lined directly up with this quartz rock, it naturally gave a flash. Now, the flash that it gave was going downwards to the ground, so that obviously is not a gunfire. Looking at the surroundings in there, I had noticed other creatures in that, other big feet in that, which is nothing new. Other people have said they've seen this too. The telling of the signs there indicate. Now, I didn't discuss this with MK, but I'm going to now. Indicate something bad happened. To the left of the screen, in one of the frames, you have a small pool of water. That water had turned red, and that red come from blood. To a tree, the other side of Patty in the edge of the woods, was also blood on this tree. In that individual frames, prior to the Patty film being taken, there was dogs involved, guns involved, horses involved. So all the tracks are there. So when you look into the pond of water that's red now, turned red by blood, and then you look at the dog's feet and the prints they left, they're all red. So that tells you that the dog run through that chasing whatever it was chasing. Well, when the film was took of Patty, this was took after the fact of whatever happened there. Could have been hours before, and it could have been a day before. So when you look at the film and it's broke down frame by frame by frame by frame, you know that Patty couldn't have been filmed in that location at that exact time as this happened. So what this tells me is Patty and her clan come there to retrieve something or someone. So something was more than likely unalived or injured badly. By the way of the fall and everything that's in the film, it looks like whatever it was shot in the back. And then there's a dead log laying there. On that dead log, it's 2 handprints, but they're different. They're not of the same individual. On the other side of that hill is a religious area that Native Americans used for thousands of years. It's where they trained the shaman. So blowing up the frames and was able to look at Patty's head, she had a braid on her right side that hung down. In that braid was a bone, looked like a fish bone. So that told me that she was a shaman. She was a high person. She was the leader. On her left side, hanging down from her shoulder to just even with her hand stretched out down her left side, was a sachet. We all call them purses. It was a sachet, Native American made or made by her. In that sachet carries all of her municipal and her religious items. She was at the time of this film was taken, she was headed to that rock. There's a rock on the other side of that mountain. So you had all these things line up. All I can tell you for certain is something bad happened before Patty got there. And Patty was summoned there. She didn't make an attempt to hide. She stayed out in the open. So all this is a giveaway. So that tells me that a logging company or somebody hired some men to go in there and hunt these Bigfoot. And why? Now this is theory here on this side of it. What I'm fixing to tell you. Now you have Patterson's family coming out saying the film was hoax, but on his deathbed he said the film was real. Then you have his wife before her death that was threatened about the film. I believe that someone or an agency has got the film. The film disappeared. The original film disappeared between 1980 and 1996. It's supposed to be mislabeled and stuck in a California film library, and nobody has any idea where it's at, but it's supposed to be in this vault. Well, we all know that's a crock because somebody could find it. It wouldn't be that big a deal. The film that MK's got come from Miss Patterson. She give it to him. He went to their house and she gave him that film. So that was the original copy that he has. Now, that's not been messed with. Nobody had a chance to alter it or change it. So when you get into the sandbar, it shows in the film that showed to us on TV and other places, the sandbar is white. Well, the sandbars are not white. So then we had to change the contrast. We changed the contrast to those frames. When we change the contrast, we darken it. Now keep in mind, this film wasn't taken very good care of, but it was the second best film that you could buy. It was a Kodak chromatic film. The first best one you could buy, only people from Hollywood could afford that. In that film, through those frames, tells a whole story than what we've ever heard. It tells a different story than what we are made to believe that's in there. Is Patty real? 100%. Is there other Bigfoot in that picture? In those frames? In that movie? 100%. Are they using spiritual guidelines? 100%. Did Roger and them stumbled up on Patty, I don't think they stumbled up on her. I think they were going there to retrieve something that was already unalive. And I think Patty and her group come in. I don't know if they got it or not. That's another thing. I don't see any tracks to indicate that any of the hunters or the Patterson and Gimlin got whatever it was they shot. And by the tracks, by darkening the contrast, you can see the Bigfoot tracks easy. So that tells me a whole different story than we've all been told of what actually happened there. So what happened there happened before Patty was filmed there. The reason why Patty wasn't hiding, Patty was on a mission. Can y'all hear me okay?
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
in that creek there, years ago, Chinese men by the thousands panned gold. When you cross the mountain, and this is Kuruk Indian territory. This is the Six Nations forest. You had Urak and the Hoopa Indians there also. That was their ancestral grounds. But the Kuruk was where this was shot at on their properties, their reservation. And so there is a lot in that film with the gold that's not mentioned, the quartz that's not mentioned. All this stuff aligns with Patty because she's a shaman. She is like the president of the clan. She's the highest there is. And by having that fish bone braided in her hair, I have run across that before. The one that chased the truck I was in that night had that braid. So as soon as I seen it, I recognized it. and that's called a scalp lock. And if it's got woven into wood or something, that's a little bit lesser down the line as a shaman or medicine person. But if it's got bone in it, that's the highest ranking you can go.
Now, do all Bigfoot have shaman, Bruce, or is that just the ones that got the powers?
Not all Bigfoot have a shaman. That's a specialized training. They start them out at birth. Same way with the Native Americans. There's a rock there that's never been filmed but once. And that wasn't even filmed. It was a picture taken of it. You wasn't supposed to take a picture, but a picture got took of it. You can't get to it because the res won't let you there. Now, people come out and call the Patty film a hoax. You're going to have your naysayers. But you have to look at this. When the Patty film was made in 1969, Chromomatic come out in 65 to 66. The Kodak Chromomatic. So the second film that's come out is using a 1967 Chromomatic, which we all know back in the day and even now, when we buy something off the shelf, it has a 2 to 3 year expiration date. So you can't go by that. But they're trying to mislead us and tell us this was pre-staged on this 67 film before the Patty film was shot, which is not true.
Crazy.
So it's a mess. But what you're seeing when you watch that film is a real Bigfoot. You're seeing a real shaman. You're seeing the highest clan. She does not travel by herself. She has a group of individuals that travel with her. She come there to retrieve whatever happened, meaning they probably shot another Bigfoot. That's the reason why you've got a water pool there that the water's no longer clear, it's red. That's the reason why you got a dog, a tracking attack dog that goes through that puddle after a Bigfoot and leaves all these blood footprints. Y'all got any questions?
Does I know that in I think it was with Roger Williams and Squash and Holler, I think MK said something about or not Patty, not Bob, but the woman that was there. I can't think of it right offhand. He said that she had a box in the closet and she opened it and it fell out and she gave that to MK so that he could go through and stabilize it. Is that true? Does that sound?
Yes. When MK was there at her house, she got a phone call, and whoever was on the other side of the phone was screaming at her and threatening her life because MK was there for her to keep her mouth shut. Now, when we get talked to like that, we generally get mad, and we then we'll reveal stuff. Well, she went right straight and got him the original copy. And that was before it was copied and copied and copied and changed up to fit the factory. One of the things that was asked that I caught is that she asked, could somebody get charged for murder if they shot a Bigfoot in the back?
You can now. $25,000 and 25 years in life in prison. Yeah, because they say it's a endangered species. Yes. But at least we've gotten it far enough to where they're agreeing that this is a species. They won't say it out loud, but these laws were put in place because they were endangered species. So, yeah, wow.
So you have,
hey Bruce,
yeah.
Is it true that even after 1967, you could buy that same kind of film, and even if it's 68 or 69, it was still stamped 67. If you filmed with it, it showed that date.
Exactly, exactly, because that's not what
it didn't matter if it's 70, 72.
Yeah,
it would still show
that date.
Right. I heard that you can still buy that with that date on today.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Kodachrome?
Yes. It's called Kodiak Chromomatic.
Chromomatic, that's right. And you had said that basically that Hollywood was using this camera.
Hollywood was using the stepped up version. The big tripod style. Bigger camera system.
Yeah.
Which they wouldn't have been able to afford, and plus pack it in on horseback 25 miles out of logging road in rough territory, you would destroy a camera like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They said they borrowed it from somebody. It wasn't even theirs. They borrowed it from I think the neighbor or something like that. Is that right?
Well, see, that's where you get into your misgivings.
Yeah.
Did they borrow it? Did the logging company buy it for them?
Ooh.
Now you get into 1958 in Bluff Creek at the same exact area. Jerry Crew went in to get on his bulldozer and found a 16-inch print. And then here comes a few years later, here comes a hunting party, and then here comes Roger Patterson. Okay, this wasn't a full-blown expedition. This wasn't a weekend warrior type project. So there was a lot of money spent on this. And those days it would have had to have been a corporation to back this. And if they'd have just went in there and took that film and proved it, and it come out. And here's the thing that another giveaway. The film wasn't copyrighted.
Oh.
So it made it public domain, meaning the government could seize it.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah. And that would be the biggest thing in Hollywood at that point.
Right.
That would have just blown. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, no wonder it had been copied and copied and copied, so it looked like the colors were wrong. And the more you did, it just deteriorated that ink.
Exactly.
Is that same? Okay. Wow.
Yep. Every time it was recopied, and re-altered, it changed the whole scene behind Patty and in front of her and behind her. So it changed the scene. In the original copy, there's a stump there, and there's a 3 to 4 foot, some call Bigfoot, that raises his head up above that stump and looks at the same time that they're filming Patty. Now, I asked MK in that because I seen a little track that looked like a toddler's track in that. And I asked MK, did they find juvenile baby Sasquatch prints? And through his studies and talking to the Pattersons, yes, they did. But again, I didn't ask MK about this. I believe it was little people. What I seen was a little person.
Okay.
Okay. If you go back to the ancient Indian folklores and their drawings, it always shows the little people running with Bigfoot or the Bigfoot running with the little people.
Jeez. And I've heard that little people were in Trinity County.
Yes.
Which is not far.
No.
From Bluff Creek. Wow.
So you had a toddler's print, 4 or 5 inches long, that was fully developed. Everything looked right about it. And then when it stuck his head above the stump, you had a picture of a small person. And then when it steps out beside the stump to look again, just like a small child would, you can clearly see that it's a small person. Wow. Meaning not like one of us, but a wild person.
Yeah. Wow. And you were saying about the quartz rock?
Right. Okay. The
quartz make fire?
Yeah. If you clack quartz together, it sparks. In this incident, whatever Patty had in her satchel and whatever this other Bigfoot that was right in the wood line had was quartz. Quartz is a frequency. Gold is a conductor. With both of them together, that's a healing power. But whatever she was practicing, she needed to get this individual to check it. If it was still alive, she would need to get it to this rock, the shaman rock, to able to practice and offer it to the sky. So with that vein running through there, that would light up the crystal and produce an extremely bright light.
That's a completely new way to look at it, like all together. Yeah. All together. Yeah. I mean,
yep. But a detective. I mean, and I had also heard that a woman named Bobby said something to Roger and Bob, and it was, oh gosh, what was it? It was pardon me for my memory, guys. It's not doing so well. Anyways, the quartz and the gold. I mean, it sounds simple, but it sounds like hell yeah. I mean, it happened.
Yeah. I mean, gold is a conductor, quartz is a frequency, and it's a gatherer of light. So when you put the two together, you could do, in their ways, their old ways, they could perform some kind of healing powers. Now she's going to naturally have herbs and stuff in her sachet, her purse. And if this Bigfoot was hurt and was still alive, and she could get it to the rock, the shaman rock, the healing rock, then there was a good chance she could save it.
And you had said that. Go ahead, Bruce.
I don't think that happened. I don't think she was able to get it there. I think if they did get it there, it was the rest of the clan took it, and she acted as a diversionary.
So, and I had heard this from that Bobby. She had said that on a podcast, and it was said. Well, it was said that Bobby was trying to get money by saying, yes, it did happen this way, but they turned her down, and she ended up looking like an idiot. Well, now she's looking like it's the truth, and I think she passed away last year.
Well, see, the film itself speaks for itself. That's your evidence. What's in the background of that film, by changing the contrast and stuff, you can see all these things. You can see handprints. You can see Bigfoot in the edge of the wood line. You can see Patty. You can see her scalp lock. You can see her sachet. Clearly, she has a bigger foot than a 16-inch print, which Jerry Crew had taken several years before that. You had several different size prints, several different size handprints, and then you had a dog that got close to the log that was evidently somebody got off a horse and put a leash on it and pulled it back. You can make all that out in that gravel bar, but that gravel bar sandbar was not white, it was gray. And so everything that they're showing us is white because they upped the contrast where you couldn't see the rest of what was in that film.
Yeah,
now,
go ahead.
Now, years later, like anything else, you'd want to do a reenactment. So the reenactment got turned around and says it's the original when it's not, because the original has disappeared. Now, I think the original was probably with one of the two fellers or his families. Mr. Patterson's no longer with us. Mrs. Patterson died in 2022. But there's a reason why his son would come out and call him a liar when he went to his deathbed saying it was true. So we look at the monitoring of it. We look at maybe they stand to get sued and lose their whatever they own because of their daddy or Bob Glimlin or somebody shot something the day before.
It turns around the way people look at Roger and Bob. I know somebody, I'm not going to say the name, that is very close to Bob. And somebody gave him the reel that had the footage on it. And he took it in, flew it to, I think it was Tennessee. So I don't know if it was going to MK maybe. But then I've also been told by this person that this really didn't happen, the hunting. So
MK got his directly from Miss Patterson after a telephone call that she was threatened and cussed out. Then she goes and gets MK and says, "Here it is." You know.
Yeah, it's hot, so take it out. Jeez. There was on the far right hand side at the bottom, there was a flare. I don't know if it was it looked like where the tape was cut and replaced, and it right at the bottom on the right there was, a pretty good size. I guess it would be probably 5 or 6 inches, and it shot straight up and then down, and that was it. Did you happen to see anything on that?
Not on that original copy, but again, you're dealing with quartz rocks. That creek was full of quartz rocks. That was a gold prospecting creek. The Chinese by the thousands took gold out of there. So the gold vein started from somewhere. It's within reason to say that the other side of the mountain was where the gold vein started. Where the Shaman rock was no one was allowed to get there. And back in those days, if you tried, you'd get yourself killed.
Yes. Well, I had totally forgot about Chinese that came here and worked unfairly. But yeah, no, I remember that they were looking for gold and taking it and selling it and then bringing it back to where it was worth a lot more for families and they could live better. So, wow. Wow, Bruce. I
So
mean,
the
that. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, you're
That
good. You're more important than I am.
the scene in the background happened before Patty was filmed. Patty was brought there. She was summoned there. Okay, she didn't care. I mean, it was obvious she didn't care to be looked at and filmed because she was on a mission. Now, I don't know where this hunting crew, this logging crew, or whoever may have got the body out of there, but I'm in the aspect of believing that Patty went there with her crew to get the body, and then they was filmed.
That makes sense. It's so weird that it's evil. I mean,
Yeah.
they hunted it down,
Mm-hmm.
killed one, and then they took the body. Now, you had said before that they bury their dead. Is that right?
Yes, they bury their dead.
Yeah.
They bury their dead under rock. Generally, they'll try to find flat rock, 3 to 5 inches thick, and then it's a coffin. They'll have a rock bottom, and they'll piece together the sides with short rocks. The head of the coffin will be short rocks, and the bottom of the coffin will be short rocks. And could be many, could be 10 or 12 flat rocks that make up the bottom and the top and the sides. But it's generally going to be one long for the bottom and one long for the top. And the top will be even with the top of the ground. In other ones that I found, boulders were rolled over the top of the graves. So it would take a bulldozer to move them.
Wow. Yeah. Jeez. It's smart though. I mean, and
Yeah.
you can imagine why you can't go anywhere, and they're so elusive. They're back. Well, that makes good sense right there. If they were hunted, they see the guns, they
Yeah.
know that something's game over, and wow.
Personally, in my opinion only, I don't think that the logging crew or anybody else made it out with that body.
Oh, I doubt it. Yeah.
I think Patty and them was able to retrieve it, and they were headed to that rock up the creek on the other side of the mountain, and they mourn their dead like we do. They have their little prayers, their giftings, all that, and their burials.
Jeez. Wow. That a total different side of the way things went. I mean, it's wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
MK said it was, when I got through looking at it and deciphering around it, MK made the statement to Roger Williams and people that that brought a whole new light and circumstances to an old film.
And they say that it happens every 5 to 7 years that somebody will throw that out there and say it's fake, and then everybody joins in. And I mean, it's almost like social media now,
Yeah.
Uh,
But if you're a logging company, a mineral company, a land company, and you get into these major forest areas, Six Nations Forest is mostly owned by the federal government, so they're going to cover a lot of stuff up. And,
yeah, even if it wasn't them, I mean, taking responsibility for something like that would be,
that would shut down the logging industry. That would shut down
yeah,
the gold prospecting end. That would shut down land development back in there. People would be mortified to see that much blood. I
Yeah.
mean, this wasn't just a little bit of blood. This was just a massive amount of blood. It was like a massacre.
yeah, and that's what Bobby said. It was a massacre. They came in and just, actually, I don't think I've ever heard of that. There was one that was shot and killed there earlier, or there was even a second one there, second Sasquatch there. So yeah, that's Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to change its trajectory of the way you see PG film and who's part of it. And now you wonder why he's gotten so many.
Well, it makes you wonder why. And logical common sense tells you that Roger Patterson wasn't going to put together this and spend all this kind of money and ride a logging road with horses for 25 miles to go back up there and stage a scene. He could have done that at home.
Wow. Jeez. You guys got any questions? Brandon, Scott, Larry?
I just love listening to it, man. I just love listening to it.
Does he still have a copy of this film?
MK?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I got to look at. He broke it down into frame for me, frame by frame. He still has the best 15 minutes of that film, which we're told they're only 30 seconds or so, 45 seconds. There's a lot more to it that the public's not seen. And
does he plan on doing anything with it? Like release the whole thing?
No. Prior to me walking over and sitting down talking with him and discussing it and looking his film over, he did give Squatch and Holler Roger Williams a thumbnail drive of his files.
Oh,
so there was a lot of good information there. Of course, I got to see it all, but Roger from Williams from Squatch and Holler, just as I was getting her, MK gave him a thumbnail drive of his private file, which was fantastic, because that means it lives on as the truth. You know, MK never said a fight took place there. It never said a massacre took place there. Any of that, but you can clearly see it in the film.
Oh, jeez.
So there were horses, men, dogs, and a lot of blood.
So because I was told that it wasn't blood, it was because the colors were coming off where the film was from being taken. And
the most important part of that film that could have told me 100% if they had killed a Squatch and him not lived was a bleed over from the film color. I don't know if that was done on purpose, but it had on that left side where that poo was, that was intentionally had a bleed over on it. A bleed over color to make it look, well, it was
not like Bobby said.
Right. It was just waved out. With the color of the film, the film bled over during the development of it. And then, of course, the original wasn't properly handled. So you couldn't remove that blotch of ink out of it if it had been stored properly and handled properly. But since it was public domain and not copyrighted, it caused a lot of problems. I
had a feeling this was gonna go ahead.
In my personal opinion, and I think that was intentionally done on that side.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of things that it's just now coming back to my memory of some of the lies now that are in that film. So there's 15 minutes of that. Did they just continue to record Patty until she was completely gone, or?
Yeah, there's 15 minutes of it. You got other Bigfoot in there. You got small people in there. There's a bunch of stuff in there. It tells its own. The film speaks for itself. It tells its own story. A lot of people out here in the world that watches a film or a TV, they're focused on Patty. They're not focused on what's around it.
Yeah. Wow. I got one word: disgusting. I mean, the way we treat them is the way we treated slaves. You know, I mean, it's scary to know that it's gone so many years without the real story being told about what happened. And now it's like, that's what I mean, is you just change the whole trajectory of the way we see the film. And it's,
I mean, back then, if that had been brought up, and even if they were able to get it out, what happened to it? Did the logging company get rid of it? Was it turned over to the Smithsonian? Did the original film get confiscated by the Smithsonian?
oh, really?
I mean, you have to think about all this. You got a lot of corporations that was in that area making mega dollars. That wouldn't have wanted that shut down.
Yeah.
Over something like this. It's the reason why they sent in a hunt team.
And they still do that today. They go in and kill whatever birds or something that's there, just because it's endangered.
I heard in California a few years ago they had to shut down so much of the interstate loop because of an endangered rat.
Oh.
So it's
and Patty's family was treated that way.
Right.
That's millions of dollars.
Yeah. And if a person could get a hold of the original film and go through it, it would be unreal probably what you could see in it. I mean, I could see a lot in a copy. When I brought the contrast down, darkened it up, I could see the blood on the dog's footprints. I could see the handprints on the log. I could see the little person in there. I could see the quartz in one of the Bigfoot's hands producing a light. You could see clearly the blood stain, water, and then when it comes up on the bank, you can see where the dog come up on the bank. It brought that water running off of it was all blood, and then you could clearly see over here, centered behind Patty, one probably a 3 foot by 3 foot area completely covered in blood on the side of a tree and tree leaves.
Yeah. MK was on Roger's show, and I saw it. They were going through, and it was he could go in so far that you could see the teeth. Because I think he said it turned and growled at the people, which they should have. I mean, with what they did. But he even said that he could go in and realize that Patty had hemorrhoids, and a lot of women get that after having childbirth. And with the breast that size that she had, she might have had a little one. So
yes, that's possible. But here's another thing: a lot of people get messed up. These Bigfoot don't have fur; they have hair like we did. If you turned us loose in the woods, and our family raised us in the woods in the middle of nowhere as young people, when we got up to a certain age, we would be covered in hair from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So every spot you would lift a hair up on Patty, you could see skin.
Yeah, and there was a couple places where her hand was that had brushed up against it. That same motion.
It took the hair off her hips, and then where she crawled, what I observed her, where she crawled into caves and under huge trees and stuff, it wore a lot of the hair off of her rear end.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Oh, God. Wow. That's awesome. You guys got a question? Anybody's got questions?
So that basically tells me that maybe Bigfoot having hair was an evolutionary adaptation. And I know I've said that before, but maybe the first Bigfoots didn't have a completely hair-covered bodies. As climate change and sun intensity, they had to figure out how to survive. And just like Bruce said, turn us loose, they're going to get hair,
We're the same way. I mean, you turn us loose naked like that, your clothes rubbing against you keeps your hair on your legs and stuff cut back. Your socks over your feet keeps the hair on your ankles and stuff off, pretty much. So if you went naked for 10 or 15 years, people wouldn't know you.
Yeah.
You
know. Oh.
Somebody broke up.
I think it was Larry. You have any other questions, Brandon?
No, I Googled on that. If he trims that tree in the fall and then sprays it in the spring, it'll bear fruit you can eat.
Yeah.
Because it has that black stuff all over it. Bugs get in it and it gets some kind of fungus on it. But if you spray it,
he's talking to somebody else, I believe.
There's a place in Benson that peaches
No,
are in season right now.
He just noticed it night before they ate.
I think he has his kids over.
Oh, okay.
I think he said that.
Oh, wow. They always told me, but I Googled it and it said, yeah, you got to prune them and spray them. He might find a couple decent ones, but all the fruit it bears be good if it.
Yeah.
I cut a branch off of it.
Okay, we'll talk over
when I mow.
He must have one of those ones that's got the
I'm sure he's not aware that this is going on.
I had strawberries and
you may have to drop him out temporarily.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brandon, tell us a little bit about you. How you started, where you had your first encounter, stuff like that. I think your mic's off.
Yep. I was saying stuff earlier, but I guess no one heard me. So I think, yeah, that's cool. I started about 4 years ago. I think it's been a little over 4 years now, and I'm from Indiana. But I host Tinfoil Tales as basically a podcast where I interview people with strange experiences. I wanted to start it because I had my own experience. So in 2007, I saw an upright walking canine. And without going into the whole story or whatever, basically that's put me on the trajectory of wanting to know exactly what these things are. So that's kind of why I do what I do, because the person that I saw it with, he just said it was a normal dog. He didn't want to deal with it or whatever. So here's some new tidbits, which is interesting. I actually just saw the guy for the first time in almost 18 years the other day. And I added him on Facebook and he messaged me and I brought up what we saw and he finally hem-hawed around enough, but he did end up saying he remembers the bipedal canine. I was like, finally, you validated what I've been saying for almost 20 years now. Like you admitted to it. So
now, wasn't he ahead of you?
Yeah,
I remember your story perfectly.
Yeah,
even where you worked.
Yeah, he swerved to miss it, and then when we came back is when I'd seen it, and he'd saw the whole thing. But like when we went to talk about it, he didn't want anything to do with it. He just said it's a normal dog, didn't want anything to do with it. But now I have a confirmation and messages where he does remember it being up on two legs and everything else. I was like, now I feel better about it.
Yeah.
Not that it makes it any different, but I at least know that he does know what it was too.
Yeah. Does he know that you've gone and started a podcast and all this stuff?
I don't know. I told him that's why I do what I do, and like we haven't really talked. It's weird. I hadn't seen him in so long. I'd added him, and then I honestly saw him the next morning. We saw him on Sunday morning at breakfast at a place we went to. So I actually went up and said something to him, like in person, and then haven't heard anything from him since then. But like it's almost like a universal way of letting me know that, hey, you saw this guy after all these years, reach out to him. So I added him on Facebook and he messaged me first. And then I got my confirmation in the messages and then I seen him the next day for breakfast. So I was like, well, that's my closure, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now you were on back roads, right?
Yeah, we were on a county road, but right by the major highway that goes through Indiana. So US 31 is like one of the major roadways through northern Indiana, and we saw less than a quarter of a mile from the highway.
And it's becoming more apparent like that too. They're coming into towns. Like Scott, he's been telling me about all the urban Bigfoot he's got. And we forgot to mention that, Scott. So remind us at the end.
No, it's fine, dude.
But yeah, no, he and I have talked for a while now about they're coming in, and there's Bigfoot and Dogman that are both being seen at Central Park in New York. I mean, it's that apparent anymore. So, and the sightings just keep going through the roof. I'm getting 3-4 times the amount of reports from people as I did a year and a half ago. So it's coming. And I had mentioned it to somebody that I went to school with, and she said, "Oh, that's amazing." And I said, "Don't be surprised if you see one on the news or you walk into one." So, and there are several by her house too. So, several reports. So, wow. So, tell us exactly what you saw, Brent. I mean, just down to the wire.
Basically, the first thing that I saw was my coworker swerving out of the road to miss something, and when I got up on there, it was a big black shape. I don't know what it was, and I had to basically try and miss it too. And the way it was moving wasn't natural. I didn't see a head. I didn't see arms. I just seen this black shape. And then he pulled into a parking lot. I pulled in next to him, and we're like, "What do we see? What was going on?" Like, I had to convince him to follow me back. And then we turned around finally. We went back down the road. I was in front this time. So he was following me, and there was a large black, what looks like a dead dog in the middle of the road to me. Like, it looked like a large black wolf or German Shepherd or something like that nature. And basically, like, it looks like what was behind in your background picture of right now. Like
okay.
And I get out of the vehicle, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "There's a dead dog on the road," because again, we don't have wolves here or anything. I just assumed it was a large black dog. And as I'm getting closer, it lifts its head up and it looks back. So the way it was laying, had its back towards me, so I couldn't see like the face or anything. And then when it lifted its head, it turned around, and that's when our headlights were making its eyes shine. Like, obviously, it was reflecting the headlights because it was dark outside. It was like 4:30, 5:30, something like that in the morning. I forget what exact time it was. I just know we got off work early. And when we seen it, it like growls at me. So like lets out this little bit of a growl. So I'm like, uh-oh, it's not dead. And I just kind of stand there, and the stupid thing tries to stand up, and it does like a little stumble, but then it stands up like a person. I don't know of any sort of dog that can do that. And obviously, the people are always a bear. Again, I'm 15 feet from this. I know if it was a bear. Obviously, we don't have bear up here either, really, that I know of. But I would still know the difference between a bear and a canine. But everything about it was still canine. It had the long tail and everything else, but it had paws. It didn't have like what everyone says dogmen have, like these raccoon fingernails and all this other stuff. It didn't have that. It looked like a normal dog, but the way it stood up, it was standing up like a human would. And I've seen dogs stand up on two legs before. They can't stand like with their arms off to the sides like they have shoulders. They're going to do the little hop arounds.
Yeah.
Like this was not doing that. It stood up like a human. So maybe it was a person in a costume, I've tried to say, because it wasn't huge. It was my height. I'm 6'3" and we were eye to eye. So it's still tall for a dog, but it's not like the 7 to 8 foot tall stories you hear people talk about.
Yeah.
And then it crouched down in this weird hunkered position and kind of like walked off sideways in a weird, I don't know how to, like, it brought its front legs up to its chest like this. And then it was like squatted down like it's trying to take like a dump. But like if you'd see a dog squat like the crap, that's what it was doing. But it walked on its hind legs off to the side like a crab. And then it went down into the ditch. It went down into the ditch, and we never seen it again.
Yeah. Bruce, do you have any inclination, or Bruce is friends with Bigfoot and Dogman?
It's definitely a Dogman. Dogmans can start out at 4 foot on up to 7 or 8 foot's not uncommon. A good sized German Shepherd will jump up on your shoulder with its front paws. It's a good 6 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot. So that wouldn't be uncommon for a dog man to be smaller or bigger. But what is uncommon is how they walk. Now, when they take off running, they will gallop like a horse. But if they're walking, they'll walk just like me and you walk.
Yeah, this thing, it didn't run. I almost thought it was like it was a dog that had his front legs broken. Like it was either hit by a car and it was hurt. That's why it was laying in the middle of the road. That's like, I'm still processing everything. I'm still thinking that it's basically some sort of an injured animal. And even if it was an injured black wolf dog hybrid, it still doesn't make sense of how it would stand up like a person. It also doesn't explain what the large black thing was in the road in the first place that we walked by, or was when I drove by, it was walking down the road because it was taller than my vehicle. This dog wasn't as tall, so I don't even know what the first thing even was because the
So you
dog
think there was-
wasn't there.
You
The
think there
dog
was
wasn't
two?
there. I don't even know if it's all the same thing because not even after the whole dog incident is when we seen this mouse standing up on its hind legs between me and him talking about what we just saw. So there was a field mouse standing between us and it's all wet and it's cleaning its fur off. And I push it with my foot. And it's real because I feel it, but it's not moving. Like it doesn't even care that I pushed it with my foot. So that the whole thing happens within like a 4 to 5 minute span of all sorts of weird crap that went on because we saw this giant thing walking in the middle of the road that's like large and black, and it had to be at least 7 to 8 feet tall just because of how big it was leaning forward. But no head, no arms. I couldn't see fur or anything on it. And then when we came back, we saw the dog. And after the dog scrounges off into the ditch line, which again, I don't even know how it would have disappeared because there's a fence that went around the whole place. So it would have had to went through the fence or over the fence, but we didn't see it. It just got in the darkness and was gone. And then there's this mouse standing on its hind legs. Everything that we saw had on its its bottom 2 feet, like its back legs. So was it all the same thing? Someone said it was a shapeshifter. I was like, I don't even necessarily believe in that type of stuff, but it sounds plausible in the sense that there were so many things that went on in such a short amount of time, and none of it makes any sort of sense.
What do you think, Bruce?
It's got
you think it was
it's got a supernatural aspect to it.
Skinwalker?
Yeah. A skinwalker here, Georgia, just a few weeks ago. North Georgia. I think it was a deer, turned into a dog, turned into a squirrel.
heard something about that?
There's something about walking on his back legs too.
Now,
Yeah.
when would they have babies? I mean, like spring, like other animals, or is there a certain time?
Yeah, they're about like the coyotes when the coyotes have their young in the spring, but they don't always have them every year. It's by the food source. Same way with a Bigfoot. Bigfoot gives birth every 10 to 11 months, but that doesn't mean they're going to have one every 10 to 11 months. It's by the food source, how populated the area is of humans, determines.
A lot of factors.
Right.
Yeah.
But what he's talking about sounds like a supernatural aspect to it.
I had never thought of it being anything but a normal animal. But when you sit and you think about the whole thing, it doesn't make any sort of sense. So I've started to lean more towards if it was a creature that was doing all those weird, it has to be something outside of flesh and blood of just a normal creature because it doesn't make any sort of sense. So I lean more towards some sort of a supernatural element.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which it goes into a lot more with the documentary I did because the documentary I found out that there are so many other people that had similar things.
Didn't know
in your area too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
shapeshifters are very common, especially if you get around Indian mounds or villages that were there thousands of years ago. It's not uncommon if you had any mounds in the area. Of course, a lot of times you can't really tell a mound because of the trees and brushes that took over. But,
Yeah. So this whole area that I live in, it used to be Native American lands. Obviously, Indiana was a huge Native American thing anyways. But I live in Miami County. It's named after the Miami Indians that were here. And along the Mississippi River is where all their camps and everything were. And in 1812, there is a war, basically. The army came through and wiped out a lot of the Native Americans. They were burning down the villages and everything else. And hang on a second.
No, go ahead. I heard something interesting the other day I was going to tell you guys. For some reason, there was something with a wolf. And when it's younger, the eyes are blue, red. And then as they get older, it goes to that amber color. Could that be the same thing with the dog man if it's that close to canine? Think, Bruce? Scott?
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, because
I
you had
don't
said
know enough about Dogman to really have a whole
Yeah.
lot to say. Dogman's never something I really dabbled with. So
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about Dogman just listening to this,
Oh yeah. Larry,
Dog,
hang on. Bruce, go ahead.
Dogman is not as intense as Bigfoot. So if you have a Dogman encounter, don't let it bother you too bad.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Brandon,
So
go ahead,
My
man.
first one was, but the second one,
Basically, this whole area was Native American lands. And obviously, when the U.S. Army came through and slaughtered everyone that was from the tribe or whatever, I think that put a lot of bad juju in the area anyways, because you have Native American lands, there's a lot of burial. And then after my incidents, like when I had my sighting and then I had started the podcast, I still didn't even talk about what happened with me because it's still one of those things that you don't feel comfortable talking to random people about because you don't know how people are going to actually like what they're going to think. So it was almost a year and I ended up going on obviously the Cundiff show. It was one of the first ones I actually went on to, and I just kind of talked to him a little bit about it. And I'd already been doing my podcast for a while. I kind of alluded to things, but I never spoke about it really. And then I went on Vic's show, and then a couple of other people reached out to me after I was on Vic's show. And then I went on Wes Germer's show, Sasquatch Chronicles. And then like more and more people start reaching out to me. So basically I've told this story on a lot of different podcasts, but because of that, other people were reaching out to me that were local, and they started telling me about their own experiences because by me going out talking about mine, it gave the opportunity for people that are local to heard of me on another show reach out to me to say, hey, I've had weird stuff happen to me around here. After I went on the confessionals, a whole lot of people started messaging me, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start looking more into this. And as I started to dig into it, I started noticing a pattern that all these instances were happening along the river. Most of them were happening right along the Mississippi River. And then I just started to like plot things out with a point here, a point there, and everything. And I say it's a triangle just because I like the furthest one up here and the one down. Like it makes it almost like a triangle shape. But I think if you actually started continuing on, it wouldn't be all fall into a triangle, but it's all concentrated right around the Mississippi Reservoir area, which used to be where all the Miami Indians had their camps and everything. Like the corner of Peru where the Wabash River and the Mississippi River meet used to be where the Miami had one of their big hubs at, back like one of their big villages that they used to do trading and stuff. Now it's the Circus Hall of Fame. There have been 3 different Dogman sightings in that same area by multiple people at different years. So it's very telling that if people are they don't know each other, but they're all reporting seeing a bipedal black canine in the same general area as where the old Miami Village used to be. So it's just, like I said, I started noticing all this little stuff going on here. So I started to interview people. I started going out and doing investigations to some of the areas. And like I said, I filmed a lot of the stuff. I filmed the investigations. I filmed the interviews. And then I put it into a documentary, and that's where I'm at with it now. Like, it's been picked up by a studio, and then I'm just waiting for it to get released out on the streaming platforms.
Can we buy it from you?
You
Do
can
still
buy
have
it from
some?
me. I have physical copies on DVD, and everyone's like, we don't even have a DVD player anymore. But like, I do have like physical press DVDs. I got to keep my physical media rights, so I
Yeah.
still own the ability to sell the DVDs when I do shows and everything like that. But as far as like Amazon and Tubi and all those other things, like it'll be on Indie Rights, a YouTube channel on September 27th, I think is the date. That's when they're going to release it on there. But it was supposed to be released on Amazon and all these other platforms prior to that. And I was going to release it on my own YouTube channel, but then I ended up finding this deal with them. So they got 100% distribution for digital. So I can't have it on my own YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there. Everybody's kind of wants their piece of the pie when it comes to that. And they'll take you for whatever they can too. So, Brandon, with the triangle that you were talking about, I mean, it has so much to do with Dogman Triangle in Texas. There's Bermuda Triangle. There's the Alaska Triangle. You think that has something to do with?
I do. Here it's not just like the canines. Obviously, I leaned a lot towards that. There have been a lot of Bigfoot sightings around here. And not just Bigfoot, like we have UFO sightings. We have a lot of paranormal activity. So in the documentary, I have different sections. I have the canine stuff. I have the Bigfoot stuff. I've got tracks and everything from people. I've got investigations in area. I did paranormal stuff. I did the UFOs. Like I have everything that I could find that was like all the high strangeness in this area. Like because it's such a small area and it has so much weird activity in there. I think there's like 14 or 15 different interviews from different people that from all over the spectrum that have saw multiple different things in this small little area. So it's
We've heard that too. That if you see one, a Bigfoot, a Dogman, everything else follows. It's kind of like a trust thing. You think, Bruce? What are your thoughts on the triangles? Skinwalker Ranch has got a triangle too.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible, but again, I go by the culture. Is that close to the Mississippian culture?
No, this is in Indiana. So up here was the Miami Indians, the Delaware Indians, and the Potawatomi. They're all concentrated right around this specific area.
Thousands of years ago, they broke off from the Mississippian culture and migrated there. So the Mississippian culture had the Egyptian style dogman head that they worship.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
I've actually spoken to someone from the tribe, and there's an area here that they call Seven Pillars because there's actual natural formations in the wall of part of the Mississinawa area right outside the town. There's these little, almost like pillars that are built into the limestone along the riverbanks. That area has a whole lot of mysticism related for natural stuff around here, for like local folklore. There's been all sorts of urban legends about it. And then just not on the other side of it, like just right across the river, like a mile or so, there is a place called Okefenokee. And everyone says that's like one of the most haunted places out there. We did investigations out there, and I went to all these other places, and we got a lot of weird stuff. Like everything that's in my documentary, it's not one of those 80 minutes of walking in the woods and nothing happening. Like I literally only put in stuff that I thought personally. So I didn't make this for anyone, I guess, besides myself, but it's stuff that I thought was actually interesting that could show that there is something going on. Like I hate watching someone walk in the woods for 45 minutes and then they don't have anything to show for it. Like that's kind of a waste of time. So
Yeah.
all the walking and all the stuff that we were doing that was boring, it's not in there. I took most of it out. So if there's nothing of interest actually going on, it's not in there. So, like I said, there's so much stuff that went on in this small area for what I was doing that I wanted to try and make sure that I'm presenting stuff that I can actually show to help validate the people that had these experiences.
Yeah. Jeez, I mean, it's starting to sound like certain areas are just so much energy coming out of it. And like Bruce said, it said with the gold and the quartz. I mean, that's some of the things that we still use for conduction and lighting and stuff like that. That is still in some use.
Mm-hmm.
That sound about right, Bruce?
Yeah, we have it in all of our cell phones. Everything we got. Is there a spiritual place there that you know of?
Yeah. Yeah. That place I was talking to with the pillars or whatever, that's where they used to have their ceremonies at, the old tribes did. And they said that they used to think that the actual pillars themselves were a portal to the other side for their ancestors. That's how they used to travel. They also said that the water systems they used to think were like the spirits themselves would use the waterways to travel. Like it's like a spiritual highway for them is what they called it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have
limestone? Could be a porthole to cryptids too. So.
Yeah, it's limestone.
Yeah,
limestone.
Okay.
Wow. What's with the limestone?
I live in the town.
Is that significant in some way?
Yes, limestone is always significant, especially around a religious, spiritual place. I like to call it the cryptid church. Limestone mixes with uranium. Uranium puts out rayon gases, so you can get back in those days. A lot of spiritual things were done with hallucinations to reach the outer realm. So,
like what is called DMT, something like that, where they would use or peyote.
Yeah, to get into that spiritual realm, they needed to achieve this highness of awareness, and that brought everything back into perspective to where their bodies could actually fly or go over bluffs and stuff, and have that reality through that spiritual awareness.
Wow. And it's a lot of that is coming back today. Joe Rogan has it on his show all the time, the DMT and
they say if you take these quartz and these limestone rocks and different rocks into the woods and make a circle, strip yourself off naked and get in that circle and meditate, that it can restart and recharge your body.
I could use that. Where it's at, I'll go sit on that for a while.
You'd mentioned during the Patterson thing, like seeing little people. That's another thing that's very prevalent here too, is the little people. And one of the areas that we did an investigation at, and I actually got quite a bit of good interaction with whatever quote unquote could have been out there. I don't know what it was, but it's called Hobbit Land. They call it Hobbit Land because of all of the little people that gets reported seen out there. And this has been known as Hobbit Land since the 70s, early 70s, maybe the 60s into the 70s. I know older people that are older than me that said they were out there when they were kids and they called it Hobbit Land back then. Well, that would have been at least in the 70s, if not late 60s.
Right.
So the Hobbit Land, like it wasn't because of Lord of the Rings movies or anything. So it wasn't like my generation or something. Like this was obviously something known for that a long time prior. So people have reported seeing a lot of strange little humanoid creatures out there.
Right.
And then there's also
what's
been
the origin of little people? Like, that's what I want to know. Like,
I just think
is it the Fae?
It comes with the land, just like the Native Americans, just like the Bigfoot, just like the Dog Man. Well, you got your flesh and blood, and you got your supernatural. You have the moon-eyed people of the Appalachians that only come out at night, and they built little cities and stuff underground.
Okay.
So all this stuff is documented and pictures of it. Here in the area I live, they dug up 100,000 pygmy graves, and the tallest one being about 3 foot tall.
Yeah, I
know
remember
they've
you told me.
documented.
Yeah,
They've
go ahead,
documented. I think is it in Australia or somewhere down that way. They come across like the old remains of something they've actually called like the hobbits. Like they claim there was some sort of offshoot of a humanoid, but they scientifically now claim that they did exist. There's these small little human-looking things.
Right.
I was like, that's one of the first things that science has actually confirmed that was almost like what people are describing. But even up here, people have described seeing them, and they look just like Native Americans.
Yes, they'll be dark skinned, the whole 9 yards. Yep. That's what we call the pygmies.
But then and then up here, other people call them looking like little troll-looking things, where they have like these little, almost like elemental thing. I was like, that sounds like puckwudgies to me. Like what you hear about from out in the western or the eastern part of the country or whatever. I think that's a lot of here because there's been a lot of sightings just south of my area in a little town called, well, it's not little, but it's a bigger town called Anderson. They have Mound State Park. It's called that because of a lot of the burial mounds that were there. And there's been all sorts of little people sightings in this state park.
What's your thoughts, Bruce?
When you get into the Appalachian Mountains, they call them pugwedgies too. When the higher you go up into the Appalachians, they're called pugwedgies. But pugwedgies and pygmies are the same thing. You get into the hobbits, they're the same thing. They're just they're just like us. All of us look different. The whole 9 yards, you know. They're just little bitty people, you know.
Yeah, and puckwudgies. When I got this little dog, and he's just crazy. We didn't have a name for him, so I started calling him Puckwudgie. So he's a little demon, that's for sure. So, wow. What else did you find, Brandon, out there? I'm curious. I'm almost wanting to go out there right now.
There has been a lot of reports of other things that I can't really describe what they are. Basically, someone had seen a pale thing in the road crawling. So I was like, well, that to me literally sounds like the name, a pale crawler. But this thing, like it had the sunken eyes, but it didn't have anything else on its face. Like it just had big black sockets, but no nose, no mouth. And it was crawling. It almost looked like its torso was ripped off. So that was a weird one. I come across a report that someone gave me, and basically they saw I don't want to call it a rat man, but the way they said its skin looked like a bald rat. But it was a hunkered down man running alongside their vehicle, butt naked. He had no hair on him. He was like gray skinned colored, they said. And then he was running along the vehicle right along the side of a guardrail. And then once he got to the edge of the guardrail, he darted off into the woods. I was like, well, that could have been, I guess, the local crackhead running out there naked or something, but that doesn't make any sense of why he's gray. But yeah. So there was that.
Bruce,
and then
I was going to say, Bruce, you've had a couple of run-ins with the crawlers, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just recently, actually, I think you said.
Yeah, crawlers generally get to be 4 to 5 foot tall, like a small people, but just a little bit bigger. They have the grayish white skin like an alien would, and they leave a trail like a snail would leave, and they're just terrible, nasty looking things. The thing that you've seen run with a car, staying with a guardrail, sounds like a juvenile dog man, hairless dog man.
They said everything about it almost looked like a person. It just looked like a naked gray person running along on all fours, like a person. I was like, I don't know, that's weird sounding.
Yeah, that's a hairless dog man juvenile. Yep.
And then there's been people that have talked about seeing flying humanoids, and I didn't get any of those people on the documentary because I didn't get a chance to speak to them in person. I do have one of them that I might eventually have an interview with, but basically they saw. I've had multiple people, but the stories that I've been told are they see someone walking in the road, and then it almost looks like a person wearing a trench coat, except when they open up their trench coat, it's not a flasher. It's literally someone opening up a set of wings, but they don't use the wings. Like the wings open and they like levitate up and then they just fly off. So I was like, what's the point of the wings? What's the point of the wings if they fly? Like if they're not using the wings?
That sounds like a corrupted long hunter to me. Like an Appalachian long hunter. What do you think, Bruce?
Yeah. I call them bat squatch. I don't know what the real name is for them. They'll have a short snout. They'll have pointed ears like a bat. They'll have what most people describe as a cape, a man walking down the road with a cape. Mm-hmm. But it's actually, they can actually, when they stick their arms out with the wings on it, they can actually levitate. And I don't know how they do that because they're not flapping. They're just levitating.
Yeah.
Supernatural.
The descriptions everyone has said is these things levitate and then they just levitate up in the air and they fly off. Now, I spoke to this guy in person, and this was just a couple of weeks ago, and I would love to have him on my show at some point. I'm probably going to have him come in the studio here with me and record because he is local. But he saw something, and this was 20-something years ago, and to this day, it still bothers him. I could see it as he's trying to tell me in person, but they were driving somewhere at night, and they come across a dead animal, looked like a dead deer, and something was eating on it. And there was two of them. And they lifted up, and they seen the face of it, and it had blood all over its face where it had been eating it, and it looked very human looking, but not human. Like it looked, he said it almost looked like a gargoyle type of a face. And he said it turned.
I've heard that recently.
He said it turned to the other one and had to have said something because then the other one looked up. And it was the same looking thing with blood on his face. And then they both stood up and the wings out and then flew off. And he said whatever it was eating the dead deer on the side of the road, like actually like right on the side of it because they're all covered in blood from eating it. As the car got closer, they both, like the one saw it, he said it literally said something. He said it had to have made a noise or said something because the other one had to look up too. Like it looked back at that one, then that one looked up. He said it communicated somehow.
Bruce,
so,
anytime we can't
Maybe
figure
it
something
was
out,
gargoyle.
and he's got the answers, I swear.
Yeah. The one you're talking about there would probably be more into supernatural realm of conjured up a thing that looks something to a dog man, but has a wingspan, and when it raises up, it can jump in the air, and as it gets into 6 to 8 or 10 foot in the air, it's got a spin on it. When it gets so high, then its wings open and it's gone.
Yeah,
Would that be the same as Point Pleasant?
Do what?
I don't know if
it's like similar to the Point Pleasant.
Well, that's be the Mothman.
Yeah. Mothman. Is it something similar?
Not really, but you're talking about supernatural. So it's something similar to a Jeepers Creepers, I call it.
Oh,
that's idea
what I call it too.
It reminds me of something from Jeepers Creepers, the way they describe this thing.
Right.
And they're all coming out new.
Here's completely different. We brought up Jeepers Creepers, and maybe I saw something and it made me think. How did the Jeepers Creepers have a custom license plate on his old truck that he stalked the people with? Did it mean he went to the BMV and got a license plate?
Right.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, Bruce, you're the Police. You're the detective. Help us out.
Well, movie props are one thing, and license plates are. Yeah, you could get it if nobody else applied for something like that. Jeepers Creepers, you could get a custom plate like that.
Yeah.
Only cost
I
you
just,
$200 or $300.
Some states you
Yeah.
could do it by mail.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny that he had a custom plate for his old
Yeah.
pickup truck.
Right.
Oh my
You
gosh.
gotta remember the Nephilim breeded with, it says in the book that they bred with over 200 different kinds of animals. Some of them probably were flying animals, you know, and a lot of different cryptids that we see. So 200, just think about how many there actually could be out there that we haven't seen or discovered yet.
I've been told that too. I've got a buddy that's a Navy SEAL, and he says I joke around and talk to him about Dogman, and he believes. And he said to me, if people knew what was actually out there, they would never leave their homes. So there's a lot more out there, I'm sure. Crazy. Wow.
I do.
And I think
I always
go
got
ahead.
my 10 millimeter or my 45. I'm gonna go down the blaze of glory.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if you're gonna go, what's gonna hurt? And I thought I saw a question in here. Okay, Matt Langford's in here. He's next week's guest.
There's been several come in and out. Did you see BMR earlier?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You did
I
a show with
invited him and he actually stopped in. That's cool.
Yeah. How about Brandon? If you
Should we
had,
say a word about our sponsor?
yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go for it.
Okay, all you viewers out there, I'd like to mention our sponsor, Rustic Supply Company. They make all kinds of cool custom metal projects. There's the Sasquatch, the Goat Man, my favorite, the Dog Man. Then he can also do Lego or logos, not Legos. Very cool
you got one
man. Check
behind
him
you.
out on his website. Do what?
You have one that's behind you. One of the ones he did for you.
Yeah, I showed it. Did you see it?
Oh, you did. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is. It
Wow.
is super cool.
That's cool. So, have you?
Yeah.
What other shows have you been on, Brandon? I remember Confessionals.
Yeah, I was on Tony's show. He's actually going to be at CryptidCon this year.
Yeah. Yep.
I've
Because he
seen
doesn't
that
respond to
one.
my
That was a good
emails.
show.
Well,
He's busy
he
though.
doesn't respond to my text messages anymore either.
Yeah.
He is
It
so
took
busy.
over a year and a half before him to even contact me. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So
Jeez.
but yeah,
That explains a lot.
he's a busy guy, and
and his wife's got cancer.
right. So
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, I don't think about stuff like that, as far as like who's whatever. But like I'm really good friends with Matt from Bigfoot Crossroads. Him and I do a lot of stuff together, and we I've been on like some other podcasts here and there, but I've been trying not to do a whole lot of other shows just because I don't want to be the focal point of a lot of stuff. Like, I want to give people a chance to come on my show and talk about their stuff. I don't want to make it all about myself. So, but when you guys ask me to help out, yeah, I'll come help out. I get how it goes. But
Yeah.
I did film a spot on the new, I don't know if I can technically say this or not, but Small Town Monsters has another Dogman documentary coming out. I did a segment in there for them. I don't know like anything else about it other than they were in Indiana. I filmed a spot with them. So at some point there'll be a new Dogman documentary they're doing that I should be in that one.
That's awesome,
And
man.
then,
That is awesome.
Yeah, I've been seeing it. When you're building it
I was
up.
gonna say,
Yeah.
I,
You were just on his show
There's
too, right?
movie.
Big show.
There's a movie on Netflix called Begonia, and I'm actually my audio from my podcast is actually in that movie. It's basically the movie where Jesse Plemons' character is a conspiracy guy and he thinks Emma Stone is an alien. So they kidnap her and they put her in the basement. They shave her head bald because apparently her hair is how she communicates with her mothership. It's a wacky movie, but
but that's cool.
It was nominated for an Academy Award. Like that's just the past year. But when he's riding his bicycle to work, you can hear me talking because they licensed some of my audio from my show. So he's listening to Tinfoil Tales as he's going to work. So I thought that was pretty cool. So my name and the podcast name are also in the ending credits of the movie.
It's cool.
That's awesome,
cool.
Brandon.
It's nice to get some recognition, though, for you. Stuff like that. I mean, what we do is not easy, especially the documentary.
When you see the movie, and then I was like, because people are like, how do you feel? Because it's almost like you're making fun of the people that listen to your show because this guy was crazy and everything. I was like, I don't look at it that way. Like, one person might have been crazy without ruining the movie for anybody, but like, watch the movie and find out if he's crazy or not. But it all points to the dude being really, really a conspiracy crazy person, but doesn't mean he's wrong. Like,
so, not anymore.
The world we live in nowadays, the conspiracy people are the only ones that seem to think logically these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My gosh. Yeah. Scott, you were just on Vic's show. Tell us about that one.
Dude, it was awesome because Vic's show was the first one that I had ever done just an audio only on. Like, it was through StreamYard, but I just basically just turned off my camera, and it was just kind of like that sort of George Norrie AM radio sort of vibe. He's such a nice dude, and he's so, like, he gets sort of psychological with it, like, did it shock you? How did you feel about it? Vic's a great dude. I had a lot of fun on the show, and I'm not sure when. He texted me a little bit ago, so I'm assuming that's the link to the episode for tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's gonna be there tonight. Excellent. And
I've had Vic
Larry
on my show. I was gonna say I've had Vic on my show. I've been on Vic's show. Like, Vic's a great dude. Like, we randomly will chit chat here and there. Like, it's funny because once you start doing the podcast stuff, you kind of get to know some of the other podcasters, and then some are cool, and then some, to be 100% honest, aren't that cool. It really just depends on where you go about with it. So.
Hit or miss. Yeah. Wow. Larry, you've been on a couple shows lately, right?
Last one I did was Jessica, but I've been on BMR, Jessica, Jupiter, Cryptid Podcast, and me and you did the first one. So, several. Yeah. I've met a lot of people. I mean, we're all family. I hate to see the division that's going on right now, but
yeah. And I'm working on that.
Each other's back.
Yeah, and I'm working on that. I think we're going to do another show, and it's going to be people with the woo, and they're the people that don't believe it. And I was going to do it kind of. I called it the meeting of the minds, and it was where it was going to be like a court. I wasn't the judge. I'm just the one that says, "Okay, hold on a sec. Let them say what they're going to say," just to understand each other enough to say, oh, okay, either there's something to it or there's not. There's two families where the father and son don't speak to each other because one believes the woo and one doesn't. Two families that are like that. Yeah. So still working on it. We're talking about doing a Wrangler Encounters, which, our 5 groups are just incredible. I mean, we had, I think it was like 7 months and we had 600 people. 7 months later, we had 30,000. So it's just a matter of answering the questions that come along, stuff like that, the messages, just one of those things. We got the 5 groups. Larry, you got the group, the names of the group that I made a little too long. You want to tell them?
Yeah, I can tell someone. We got Cryptid Wranglers. We got Wrangler Encounters. We got Elemento and the UFO and the UAP. Then we got Folklore and Legends. Stephen Barrows runs that one. And then, I Jessica's in the chat.
Yeah, I just saw her too. Yeah, she has got an amazing show, and I don't
All
know
our
how
groups
she
are safe groups.
Yes, definitely. Brandon, why don't you tell us where we can find your group, your Facebook, group, stuff like that, anywhere.
Well, for anyone interested in what I do with Tinfoil Tales, you can find Tinfoil Tales on either Facebook or Instagram. Like, the podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, YouTube, any of that stuff, like any of the podcast apps will have Tinfoil Tales on there. But to get a hold of me directly, I'm usually on Brandon Tinfoil Tales. That's the easiest way to find me. That's on Facebook. So you can message me that way. If I don't respond, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that I get so many messages that it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
So
it's all those platforms too, man. I'm getting stuff from Australia, Brazil. I got one from Ukraine the other day. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and I always try and get back to everyone. I always try and let everyone on the show, but it gets to the point to where I've already got so many episodes recorded right now that if I'm only releasing one a week currently, I was doing two, but I kind of backed off for the last year, almost year and a half, to just going back to one a week. But I already have enough interviews recorded that I don't have to record for the rest of the year if I don't want to. So I've got such a big backlog that I'm probably going to go back to releasing multiple episodes a week just to start burning through some of these interviews. So I don't like to interview people and it takes 6 months for their interview to come out. So I don't say that as like a braggish thing, but like I literally record 2 or 3 times a week. And then once you only interview or only release one a week, it starts to build a huge back catalog. And that's what I've been doing for the last like almost a year. So it's like, I've got stuff recorded from April that are just now coming out. I feel bad because it's been so long since I recorded, but that's why I have a Patreon. I literally record everyone and then I put it on my Patreon. And my Patreon, I don't do it to make money. I have like $1.99. That's like one of the lowest you can get for Patreon. Plus there's free membership. But with doing that, it literally puts the episodes out there. So for anyone that wants to listen to them way earlier, I just put them out there. So like I said, people are like, oh, you're trying to make money. I was like, literally once Patreon takes their cut and Apple takes their cut, I don't really come out with any money. It's just me getting the episodes out earlier for everyone that actually wants to hear them.
Yeah, well, people say that, oh, you're just trying to make money off things. I'm paying $80 a month just for StreamYard to have everything that we have. So I'm pretty sure we go negative by the end of the year, especially
you do
documentary
the
industry.
I'm not going to get rich in this field.
No, I have the free version of StreamYard, and because I don't necessarily have to record with StreamYard, I can record directly to my broadcaster itself. I don't have to pay that, so I can actually still do live streams, but it just has the little StreamYard logo on it. But it's better than paying $80 a month. So if you want to go that route, you might be able to do the free route by just throwing their little logo on there and being done with it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, unless you're like Tony or some of these other big podcasters, you're not really making money. Like I don't do it for money. That's why I have a job. I do it because I'm interested.
And the amount of money that we put out,
you gotta get the word out there and let people know.
And this, and the groups, it's hard to do. So I commend you there. Were you the one I think we were talking about? You made your.
It's a lot of extra work.
Yeah. Yeah, people are like, oh, you're going to make money eventually. The money you make has already been gone for years. So But you had done, I think
Yeah.
we had spoke where you had done an LLC for yours. You use it for tax write-off?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, basically anything that I buy for the show, or if I travel to these conventions, or I pay for my motel room, like all that stuff, I use as taxable write-offs because
Right off.
it works for me in the sense that whatever I make, I don't have to pay taxes on. Because my show is monetized. I do make some money, but like the amount of money that I get, I spend more money than I'm making. So I don't want to have to pay taxes on something if I'm already losing money. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
like
yeah.
so basically I have all my costs. So every time I file taxes or whatever, it's kind of one of those things where I consider it a business. And I don't know how many times they're going to let me consider I'm losing money on this business, but that's just how it works.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that would
see
be
the-
interesting, wouldn't it?
the taxes show that I'm a business that loses money. Like that's the reality of podcasting.
Yeah, it is. All right, now we ask Bruce, what shows have you been on the past couple of weeks here?
Well, about 2000. I can't remember them all.
Yeah.
Uh,
Every time I turn on YouTube, you're on it.
yeah. Cryptid Hunters. I think she's watching. Hi, Jessica.
He's here. Yep.
Squatch and Holler. I just can't. I apologize, but I just can't remember them all.
Yeah. Trust me, no apologies
on a
needed there
bunch,
with
brother.
memory.
Yeah.
Your memory's better than mine. But yeah, here she is, Cryptid Huntress. Yeah. And props to her, and thank you for having all of them on. I mean, it's great to. I mean, 4 times a week. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. I struggle with just this one. So, but I am considering the whole the Wrangler encounters where it's UFOs and paranormal and cryptids and everything. Just anybody that's had encounter with something. And that's another one that I get a ton of messages on. When are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do the encounters? And I'm like, someday. So, but yeah, no, Jessica's show is amazing. We're dying to have her on if she had a day that she could do it. So, but anyways,
You just have to
let's
schedule.
thank Pam. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Pam. You just have to schedule Jessica in there and call her and tell her she's on.
Look, she's not on. Jump.
There she is. She just popped up again saying facts, Matt.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys? You want to call it?
She is one of a kind, and she does an awesome job.
Yeah, she does.
Yes, Pam.
Brandon, he messaged me about a month or two back about coming on your podcast. When you're ready, just yell at me and we'll set a date.
Sounds good. It'll probably be here in the next couple of months, but I'll reach out to you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Another one. I just did Eye of the Jupiter with Tom Franklin.
Yeah. Tom's a great guy.
Yeah.
I just done another show, my 3rd or 4th show with Vic Conda. Gosh, I can't remember them all, but anyway, sorry guys if I didn't call you out on your name out. I apologize.
We're getting older, so I mean, it's one of those things you gotta work with.
Yep.
That's why I told Larry and Scott, hey, if I forget something, just jump in. So, I got
we gotta not forget to be able to help. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, Brandon, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you on. You will be at CryptoCon this year, November, right?
I actually have. Yeah, there's actually a lot of events that I do have coming up that I'm going to be at. There is. Let me bring up my calendar just because I don't want to say the wrong dates.
Like our
I know
group,
September.
we like to promote
September 20.
Yeah.
September 25th and the 26th, I'm in Nashville,
Jessica.
Indiana, at the Indiana Bigfoot Conference.
Okay, cool.
And then
Wow.
I will be, I think it's October 17th. I'm actually right down the street from where I live. There's a Pair Unity event that they do every year. And because it's local, I always try and attend it just because it's literally 2 miles down the road from where I live. So why wouldn't I? And then the following weekend, I think it's the 24th, October 24th and 25th, I'm speaking at the Crawfordsville Paranormal. I don't know what they actually call it, but basically it's a 2-day event. I'm doing like a speaking thing about the Mississippi Triangle, and I'm speaking about like I'm part of the cryptid group and the podcast group. So apparently they're going to be doing panels and Q&A sessions. So I don't know what all entails. I just know they asked me months ago about being involved. So I haven't heard a whole lot more detail about it, but I know I'm going to be there. And then in Kentucky on November 13th and 14th, I'm going to be at the first Beast Fest. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's just it's in you'd have to find it on Facebook. I can't think of the name of the park. I'd have to look up all the information. But Beast Fest, it's going to have, I know Martin Grove's supposed to be there. A couple of other people are supposed to be all speaking and stuff. So it's the first time they're doing something. I know the Hellbent Holler was supposed to have been there, but they had to drop off for some reason. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on for that one. And then, like you said, Cryptid Con's the following weekend. And that's in Florence, Indiana. And Cryptid Con's got tons of people from Ghost Adventures. They've got Giorgio from Ancient Aliens is back there again. Like all sorts of different celebrities are supposed to be there. So,
and he said Lee said this was his biggest year. So
yeah,
with speakers and whatnot, we try to get Daryl in, but he's got it booked, man. He's booked. So awesome. We're going to be filming.
They asked about doing screenings. And so they offered something about screening, so I offered to let them screen my documentary, but I never heard back from them about it. I was like, okay.
Oh. Yeah, you have to be in a niche with some of these people. I mean, either you got to be friends or you got to pay them or something like that to get on the shows. But no, so excellent. And do you remember any of the ones you got coming up that you're going to be at, Bruce?
No, I can't remember mine. Look through a calendar or something, but I'll be floating around somewhere. If I ain't there, I'll be in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna have we're gonna have it looks like we're gonna have Ron and Martin down there with us. Bruce is gonna be there with us. So Scott and Larry, we're all gonna be down there at the LBL for the documentary, and then we're all taking it up Friday night to CryptidCon. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And thank you, Pamela, for helping us out here. I kind of just bombed her with, can you moderate the chat, because I can't keep up. We've gotten to be a little too many people. So, but yeah, the chat's incredible. Thank you, Judy. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Matt, thank you, brother. We can't wait to have you back. Huntress, let me know. I'll take you anytime. We'll do it outside of Friday. So
we'll schedule it on one of her shows off. We'll just set it up and then we'll call her.
we got 2 or 3 days to work with. So, but
here's the link.
Thank you.
Get on here.
Yeah, and VMR, thank you. Appreciate that too. Bam. We got Matt Langford coming up next week, I believe. Yeah. We got him next week. He will be the guest. And let's see if I missed anybody. We'll go over them real quick. Oh my gosh, yeah, the chat, thank God. and it really sucks when you type, with 2 fingers. It's like, God. It looks like we got them all. Midnight Shadow Line. I heard it. I have heard and seen you recently too. So, you've got some information too. Let us know. We'll have you on the show too. I mean, gargoyles and Gray Pale Walkers, Dark Black Eyes. Yeah, he's got them. So, but thank you guys. Brandon, you're awesome, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
the quick fill
Appreciate
in.
it, Brandon.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Brandon.
Yeah, no
Brandon.
problem. You guys have a great night.
Well,
You too.
you
Thanks,
too.
You
guys.
too.
All
Have a
right,
good
guys. I
weekend,
guess
buddy.
we'll close it up too. Yeah, good weekend. And we'll see you
Yeah, you too.
Crypticon.
All right, guys.
All righty,
see
guys.
y'all.
We'll go ahead.
Yep.
Go
Thanks
ahead.
for
Yeah,
doing
thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. We're out of here.
Have a good
See you later.
weekend, everybody.
Welcome to the Cryptid Wrangler podcast. We ask the questions others don't even consider.